Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel Law Point. This is Renu Thomas, your host for this episode. When you rent or lease a property, it is very important to know the things that you can and to know the things that you cannot. Both the lessor and the lessee have rights and responsibilities, which means there are things that you need to know and there are things that you need to take care of. Let's find out what are these rights and responsibilities that are applicable for both the lessor and the lessee. We have with us Mrs. Praseena Elizabeth Joseph, advocate on record from the Supreme Court of India, to explain these things in this episode. So let's watch this episode.
First of all, let's see the rights of a lessor, the landlord. The landlord has a right to receive rent from the premises. Secondly, the landlord has a right to inspect the premises to see how the lessee is maintaining his premises in good condition or not. Thirdly, the lessor landlord has a right to terminate the lease in case of non-payment of rent, violation of lease terms, etc. Fourthly, the landlord has right to incorporate specific conditions like duration of the lease, the amount of security deposit, amount of rent, etc. to be incorporated in the lease terms. Fifthly, the landlord has a right to receive security deposit. Normally, the security deposit is returned to the lessee after the lease agreement is over. However, in case there is unpaid rent or damages caused to the premises apart from the normal wear and tear, then the lessor, the landlord, can utilize the security deposit, deduct the money and then return the balance amount only to the lessee. The lessor has a right to enforce or implement lease terms in the lease agreement, like any kind of rules or regulations or conditions which are incorporated in the lease terms to be followed by the lessee. Then it is the landlord who can implement or enforce these lease terms from the lessee. Finally, the lessor has a right to initiate eviction proceedings against the lessee in case of termination of the lease agreement or in case of violation of any of the lease terms by the lessee or in case of any kind of illegal activities done by the lessee in the leased premises, etc. Now let's see some of the liabilities of the lessor in the leased premises. The lessor has a right to maintain the leased premises in a habitable and safe condition, that he should carry out necessary repairs to maintain the property in good working order. Secondly, the lessor has to comply with relevant laws applicable to the leased premises like building codes, zoning regulations, health and safety conditions, etc. Thirdly, lessor has a responsibility to deliver peaceful possession of the premises to the lessee so that the lessee can have a peaceful enjoyment of the property during the period of the lease. The next liability of the lessor is to handle the security deposit. It is the duty of the lessor to return the security deposit to the lessee once the lease agreement is over. The final and the most important liability of a lessor is to inform the lessee in case there is any environmental hazard in the property or any kind of defect in the property, so that the lessee can take proper care and caution while using the property. Now let's see some of the rights of a lessee, the tenant, in the property. First of all, lessee has a right to take possession of the property and use the property according to the terms specified in the lease agreement. Secondly, the lessee has a right to have a peaceful enjoyment of the premises without any disturbance from the lessor or any other persons. Thirdly, the lessee, the tenant, has a right to privacy in the leased premises. In case of any kind of inspection by the lessor, then he has to give advance notice to the lessee with respect to this inspection of the premises. Further, the lessee has a right to receive services, amenities, utilities as provided in the lease agreement from the lessor. In case of any maintenance or repair or any kind of defect found in the property, then it is the lessee who can inform the lessor and get it repaired, maintained or cured by the lessor. Another right of the lessee, the tenant, is to receive advance notice from the lessor in case of termination of lease or for eviction, allowing the lessee, the tenant, time for making alternative arrangements for shifting. Further, the lessee is entitled to receive security deposit from the lessor once the lease agreement is over. Finally, if the lease agreement permits, the lessee has the right to sublease or assign his right in favor of another person or renew or extend the lease for an additional term, etc. Now let's see some of the liabilities of a lessee. The most important liability of a lessee is to pay rent according to the terms agreed in the lease agreement. Secondly, it is the responsibility of the lessee to maintain the leased premises in good condition, which includes routine cleaning, minor repairs, and ensure that the leased premises is not damaged apart from the normal wear and tear. Further, it is the responsibility of the lessee to comply with the terms and conditions as mentioned in the lease. That means the lessee shall not engage in any kind of illegal activities carried out in the premises, or if in case sublease is prohibited in the lease agreement, then the lessee shall not engage in sublease of the premises, etc. Another responsibility of the lessor is to notify promptly the lessor with respect to any kind of maintenance or repair required in the premises. Finally, it is the responsibility of the lessee to return the property in good condition to the lessor apart from the normal wear and tear. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Meet you in the next episode. Till then, bye-bye.